wow, what do you know? It's time for the Pocket Knife Show. Hey, it's Mike on the mic again for another episode of the Pocket Knife Podcast. I started marathon training a little over a month ago. Early on, it wasn't all that hard. I'd been running fairly consistently before the actual training started, so I was in decent shape. The first few workouts were actually shorter runs than I'd been doing. I followed the plan anyway. A few weeks in, the distances of Friday and Saturday runs started increasing. Fridays were often fast-paced miles, 6, 7, 8. Saturdays were slower, but the distances were longer, 11, 12, 13, 14 miles. This Saturday, the plan calls for 16. The Saturday after that, when I really don't have a lot of time to get it done, 17. None of this is specifically what I want to talk about today. This has just been the build-up. What I want to talk about today is how I feel and what I'm thinking as I'm running and completing workouts. At least this time around. Probably in the past, but I don't remember. There are days, mostly Fridays and Saturdays, when partway through the distance I think, I can't do this. 95% humidity and high mileage will do that to a guy. There are other days when I've put out as much energy as I have and it hasn't been enough to match the effort asked of me. I'm completely shot. On those days I wonder, can I even run a marathon? Most people ask that question before they start training for a 26.2-mile race and answer with a loud shout, "No way!" They quit before they start. They don't train and so they never run a marathon, which of course no one has to do, not even me. But I want to, and so even on the days when things feel terrible, I keep going. And on the next day, I do what the plan calls for. And on the next day, I do the same. Day after day after day after day. Are there days when you feel like you're a failure at the Jesus following thing? Do you ask yourself condemning questions like, am I even a Christian? You have probably felt a few times like a failure because you fail to live up to what God's word tells you is the right way. You follow your flesh instead of the Spirit, and you feel accused and berated and you want to quit. Don't quit. Don't give up. Keep chasing after Jesus. Even if you fall, get up. Get going. Do it again. When you're weak, let the Spirit empower you. Your friends in the church are with you. They're facing the same struggles and enduring. They're as discouraged as you are sometimes, and they need your cheers. In Hebrews 12, in the first verse or two, the writer encourages those who would follow Jesus to remember a few things. He's been talking in chapter 11 about the saints of old who trusted God and kept following Him, and then he says this, "Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a great cloud of witnesses, let us throw off everything that hinders and the sin that so easily entangles, and let us run with perseverance the race marked out for us, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of faith. For the joy set before him, he endured the cross, scorning its shame, and sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. Consider him who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. Keep running, knowing others have endured. Keep running, eyes on Jesus, who also endured. Just keep running. You will sometimes feel weary, but don't lose heart." Paul, in his last days, wrote to his protege Timothy. He spoke of finishing the race. Listen to what he wrote in 2 Timothy 4, 7, and 8. "I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. Now there is in store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day. And not only to me, but also to all who have longed for his appearing." Paul made it to the end and said, "It'll be worth it." Paul made it to the end and said, "It's worth it for all who long for Christ's appearing, who follow him." If you stick it out, following Jesus your King, I'm sure you'll say the same in the end. Worth it. The finish line isn't that far away, and God is with you, helping you, empowering you. Trust him. Keep going. Keep training. Keep running. keep following.
Oh no, it's sad, I know. We've come to the end of the show.
See you next time.